Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so what is it? Went to visit mom. Heck of a great experience, to be honest with you. It was very spiritual today. The first time I actually felt something there. I think it has something to do with all the meditation I've been doing. Prayed a lot while I was there. Way more than I ever have. And it was probably my favorite, if there's such a thing as visiting your mom's grave. Being your favorite time that I've ever done that. So for whatever that's worth, I thought it was a really good experience for me. I felt her presence for the first time there. All of the stuff that I said I hadn't felt, I felt. No crying, no sadness. A lot of love, man. A lot of love. So yeah, after I left there, got on the train. Before I got on the train, there was a little dog, a stray dog walking on the tracks. So we knew the train, me, a couple of the workers, a few of the people working, waiting for the train, knew that the train was coming like 2 minutes. We could see it. And we also saw the little dog walking on the tracks, stray, hair matted, so you could tell it had been out here for a long time. And sure enough, this little dog, I was trying to whistle it, try to get it to have some damn common sense to get off the tracks. This thing walks up to the train. The train, luckily enough, was moving slowly, so they were able to brake. This thing walks in front of the train and sits in front of it. Literally. I'm like, now what kind of animal does that? It walked in front of the train and sat there and waited for the thing to run it over. I kid you not. And it didn't, of course. The cops came and kind of saw it, we kind of got the dog's attention, tried to get it to move. It moved, and it kind of went to the left side of the train, so it disappeared behind the train, so we couldn't tell if it went underneath it again or whatever, because it looked like it wanted to go underneath the train at one point. It was just like, oh, why is this dog doing this to us? why is this dog doing this to us? It was the attitude. And it was a girl who was trying to follow the dog. She was going to, I guess, try to grab it. A little young girl, maybe like 17, 16. And we were like, no, get yourself off the tracks. We don't need you dying, getting hit by a car trying to save a dog. No, get off the tracks. We'll find another way to save the dog. So that was a whole nother story. And it all worked out. The dog ended up going behind the train, and we were able to go forward without running it over. But it was a little nerve-wracking. After that whole situation prompted some lady to start talking to me. Shout out to Stacy, nice lady, telling me everything in her life story in the world, all the way to basically 7th and Metro. So she got on 2 or 3 trains with me and telling me stuff that I had no business saying, knowing stuff I wouldn't dare repeat. But believe me when I tell you, I know everything about this person. And so that was humbling, because she was one of those people that keep talking to you, you know what I mean? I don't think she really knew better, that kind of thing. So, like, it required me patience. But I was in such a zen space, having done all that praying with my mom and all of that energy, to where I was much more receptive to that type of thing than I ever otherwise would have been. That's kind of how that went. I was so much more receptive to that and peaceful in her presence. So instead of having this weird energy, like, get away from me, stop talking to me, it was more like me trying to acknowledge her, but at the same time not trying to engage in such a way where I'm telling her my life story too. You know what I mean? Because she telling me all this stuff. She getting into her finances, getting into, her family business. I'm like, telling me about her car. I'm like, I don't even know what your name is. Telling me about her medical history. I'm like, yo. But she didn't have a sensor for that. Like that thing that tells you not to overshare, didn't work. She didn't have it. So I could tell she was on the spectrum a bit, but she was pleasant. You know what I mean? I didn't feel bothered by her really. I felt a little awkward when she was talking to me on the train when other people were like kind of quiet, and she kept going and kept oversharing. But as the Lord put it in my heart, I just would listen. Treat her like a human being, like I would want somebody to treat my family member or whatever. And it was a pleasant trip, man. It really was. after you get past it. She had a lot of positive things to say. She wasn't a mean person or anything like that. So, I just soaked up the energy and kept pushing. That's really what I could do. Get her where she was going, because she was asking me which way to go. She told me another way to get to North Hollywood from like Union Station, catch a bus. I'm like, man, it's so much quicker than I could train, but it's good to know just in case. So that was good energy, man. It was funny because after I left the train, after I left my mother's gravesite, as I'm walking out of that place, something said something. It was an energy that came to me, that voice, as I always tell you, said, something has attached itself to you. Someone has attached its love to you or something like that. And I'm like, what is, like, all this praying you're doing in this gravesite, you have attracted something that's going to be walking with you. It's exactly what came my way. It was like a voice that told me that. And I'm like, and he said to me, it was one of those situations, it was like, you know how people have demons attached to them or bad energy attached to them or bad spirits attached to them? Well, what you have right now is the opposite. What you have is the absolute opposite. And it said, if somebody who is spiritually sensitive senses that, they're gonna feel it and be attached to you. This is what that energy told me. It was about maybe 3 minutes later when Stacy started talking to me. 3 minutes later, and from there she was talking to me for almost another 45 minutes. So that's what I took from that, is that Stacy, on the spectrum as she was drawn in by that, whatever that spirit was that attached itself to me at the graveside. And I asked the Lord, I'm like, is it my mother? And the energy was more or less kind of saying, no, it's not your mother, but it's someone you haven't seen in a long time. And so I'm like, someone I haven't seen in a long time? Maybe there's somebody buried there that I know that I don't know past, or, that I ain't seen since I was a kid or something like that, that kind of thing. That's what the energy told me. That's what the vibe was. That this is someone who's attached their love to you that hasn't seen you in a very long time. And so I assumed it was probably somebody who passed away when I was a kid. Maybe one of the people at the children's club that I used to know, or something like that. Somebody who went to school with that I didn't know died, or maybe they died so long ago that I didn't know they were buried there. And that's Inglewood Park Cemetery, man. A lot of people in LA, they'll get buried there, you know what I mean? Like, just in general. So I don't think it's far-fetched. And somebody other than my mother that I know is probably there. I don't think it's far-fetched. I just don't know they're there. But when I was doing all that praying, and spirit and that voice that I trust so very much told me, like, yo, a good spirit has attached itself to you and is walking with you. You're walking with new energy and new spirits today. And they're good spirits, very good spirits, love you very much type spirits. So what I thought it was, honestly, is probably somebody at the children's club where I used to go. Maybe one of the teachers there or somebody like that. That's what came to mind. It's like somebody from the 90s. Maybe one of my homies, or maybe somebody that I lost a long time ago. That kind of thing. Who I don't know is buried there, but he is. That maybe something like that. So I don't know. I felt good energy. That felt good though. It felt like it felt like I was walking with somebody, like a friend. But it wasn't my mom, because the energy that came to me was like, your mom always is. You ain't gonna feel no different spiritual energy with your mom, because she ain't left your side since she passed. That's kind of the vibes that came my way in regards to, is it mama? Nah, she always there. Your mom ain't never too far away from you, is the energy that I got from that. This is something else. This is someone else. I was like, I don't know. I'm telling y'all, man, I'm a little different when it comes to this type of stuff. But I had a great time there. It was a very, very special today. The first time I felt that way. And I think it's because of all the praying I've been doing. It's just a lot of love my way. So, yeah, man, that's what's going on now. I'm walking home. It's a little later than usual. About 5:30, something like that. 5:45. go to the house and start doing homework for these games that are coming up. We got 2 back-to-back Laker games tomorrow and the day after that, so I got to do homework on both of them damn games. The Golden State Warriors and New Orleans Pelicans. I was telling God this morning, I don't want to complain, but I'm a little worn out of these games being so close together and back-to-back and all the preparation it requires for me to be able to do what it is I do. I enjoyed this yesterday, not thinking nothing about basketball and not having a video to do today as well. Go visit mom, not have to worry about no Laker game messing with my schedule. It was very helpful. And so we're off of that. Now we got to get back to the games tomorrow. And it's like, man, I don't really want to do any homework tonight on the Golden State Warriors. I don't care what Steph Curry and them are doing. I really don't, man. As a Laker fan, I can tell you the truth. I don't really care about no other teams, y'all. I really don't. And so for me, it's like I got to watch an hour highlights of them and an hour highlights of the New Orleans. And it's like, man, I got to figure out how to do that before tomorrow, basically. So I think I'll do Golden State today, since that's the game tomorrow. And then sometime during the day tomorrow, watching New Orleans. I think that's probably how I do it. Like, I was telling God, like, man, I appreciate having a voice and being able to do what it is I love to do. But I've never felt more burdened by my favorite team than I feel right now. Never. It's time consuming preparing for this team. So I'm trying not to complain, you know. It was a saying that came to me when I was thinking about that. It say, try not to be someone you don't like while experiencing something you don't like. In other words, don't complain to the point where you annoy people or annoy yourself. When you're going through something that you don't like, you can easily become someone you don't like. So, you know what I mean? Try to limit the complaining and you know, extend the gratitude. So that's what I try to do. I'd be tired of this stupid crap watching these highlights. I don't care for these teams at all. I'll be sitting up there rolling my eyes at most of this stuff. But it is what it is, man. So that's going to be carved out at some point tonight. More meditation as well. I don't feel like doing my hundreds workout, but we'll see how I feel when I get in the house. We'll see. I'm not necessarily in that mindset. I want to be consistent with that too, with everything else I got going on. I'm not really sure I'm going to be doing that right now. I'll probably just put that off to tomorrow. But we'll see. We will see. Many a time I thought I wasn't going to do it and I ended up doing it. So it's not a big deal if that ends up being the case tonight. But I'm a little hungrier because of the timing, I guess. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, just wanted to tell y'all how that day went. And you know, just continuing to understand that you connect with God, and there's other things to understand that come with that. Me pray as hard as I've been praying and meditating as hard as I've been meditating, there's going to be other energies that are going to be both attracted to that and repelled by that. But you know, it's a real blessing to have felt something today in prayer at that place. After going there maybe 10 times now, however many times I've been back, and just 9 times it's just been empty. 9 times I just sit up there and like, I don't feel nothing. I'm looking at a plaque, I don't feel anything else. I'm not. It wasn't like that today for the first time. So praise God for that. And you know, we move forward, man. Move forward with the same intensity to meditation and prayers we've been doing. You know, it's most important that we keep that going, because I think it's guiding me in the right direction. As I was telling you guys in the previous video, I'm handling things that otherwise I would struggle with so much better. And of course, certain things that are supposed to be a burden are just not working. Things that are supposed to prompt me to be unhappy, it just ain't happening. Or things that are supposed to make me unhappy, I'm turning that into something to pray about. So restructuring my mind, and it's been a nice experience this year so far. So yeah, man. Asking the Lord for guidance from here, you know, how to handle certain things. You know, there's certain things in life that I don't really like to discuss. on this channel, believe it or not. I've been avoiding certain things that I don't want to talk about. Because I don't, you know, it's one of those situations where it's just some things you want to keep to yourself. You don't want to overshare, and although it may seem like I do, there are certain things that I do not talk about. And some of those things, I think if I expressed them responsibly, maybe they could be great content or helpful. And, you know, if anything, I can say this. I'm very comfortable being alone, but I'm tired of being alone. And I can say that much. It gets to a point where it's like, you just would like some companionship. That's what I can say. And so if there's a way the Lord can kind of snap me out of some of my social ways that keep me isolated, I would like to be a part of something good that has the ability to grow into something great, be a part of something special, whatever that looks like, you know, something that can start the family going for myself, have my own family, that sort of thing. And so that's kind of what I've been praying about, asking the Lord to kind of bring me into a space where I'm a bit more receptive to doing so. And those are the things that I don't really like talking about on here too much, for whatever reason. Don't know why. I talk about everything in the world, but I will not talk about that type of energy. But if there's something to tell, I think it'll be something that I meditate on, see if the Lord will help me be more forthcoming about stuff like that. So that's what, about as much as I really want to say. Until there's something to tell, I don't really have much to say. But I would like there to be something to tell at some point very soon, if possible, because walking alone is fun, being alone is fun until you're tired of it. And I'm almost tired of it. Not from the perspective of my conditioning, because I'm conditioned to be this way, but as it pertains to, all right, I'm getting 40, when am I going to have my kids? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's where we're at with that. And can the Lord put me in a position to where I can responsibly take care of them, get back on my feet in that way, and all of the different things that come with that. So that's what I'm also meditating on as well. I'm thinking a lot about. Hopefully the Lord can change some things around here in multiple areas so that can be a real thing. So yeah, man, that's that, man. But at any rate, you know, I tell you, man, I'm still praying about what's going on in Gaza. I ain't been paying as much attention to it as you guys can clearly see. I've had a lot of other things going on, but I've been praying about it just as much. And not focused on the details of what's going on there, but still turning my attention to asking the Lord for solutions, for comfort, for healing, for subject matters for which to share on this channel. But I think I've gotten to a space where following every detail of that situation, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even think it's necessary for me to do that right now. If I'm being completely honest with you. When you see 400 plus days of genocide, you know what comes next. And the same thing that happened the last 399 days. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know what's going on. Enough to say, this is who they are, the people who are doing this to these people. This is who these people are, the people who are having it done to them. And it ain't what they tell us. It's to not listen to them anymore when they tell us anything about anyone. And so, their tendencies, the tendencies of Israel and how they operate, the cruelty that they engage in their end game, a lot of this stuff I already understand without looking at the details now. You start talking about a ceasefire, it's all but laughable to me. I know better. Because I know what the end game is. We talked about what I think the end game is, what I think the end game has been when I meditate on it. I know, seeing the images and all of that, I know what they're intentional on doing. It's continuing to take American tax dollars, use the influence they have of American government officials, and continue this process. rinse and repeat, use the narrative of October 7th in Hamas as a means of continuing this project, this colonial project that they hope to expand into what looks like an old Western shoe, a woman's shoe. Like that's the, and so until they build that, they go continue to do what they've done in the Gaza, in the places that ultimately shape up their greater Israel plan. So when I hear that they're starting to expand and do some of these same terroristic things in other lands that surround the area, obviously I know what they're building. Of course they're going to handle it the same way. Of course it's going to be in these certain spots. We already know what those spots are because we already know the layout of what it is they're trying to do. We know exactly what greater Israel looks like. We've seen the maps of what it is their intention on. So I know that they're doing this in this particular area, and that particular area is being treated the same way. And they're continuing to bomb hospitals and harm people and innocent people and then all these different things. I can even tell you what they're going to do next in certain situations. They're going to herd people in one direction. They're going to bomb them all the way to where they're going. And when they get there, they're going to bomb them there too. Like, these are things we've already seen how Israel get down. We know what they do. There's some variation of that. Testing out new bombs. I don't know that I need to see any more of that to know enough at this point to continue to tell people, like, what I've seen is enough. What they're doing right now is just continuing that process till they build their little shoe. Whatever they do in between that is probably a copy and paste of the same stuff we've already seen, you guys. And there's going to be more death, more justifying it, more propaganda out there that's supposed to be influencing people against that for which they've seen, which is normal, you know, for their behavior. It's kind of how they operate. You've seen the movie already. You don't have to wonder what's coming next, and you've seen the movie for the last 400 days. It's 400 days of this. You know what's coming. So do I find myself enthralled in the idea of seeing more details of what they're doing right now? No, I don't. They've worn me out. But at the same time, I still tapped in on the Instagram, but I don't find myself tapping into Instagram as much. So it's like, that's where I'm at with it, man. My prayers are there, and I know it's my responsibility to keep an eye over there as somebody who's aware. But as far as me following the details at this point, and I don't want to, man. I honestly don't want to. I've been doing that. I don't care to see any more of that. They've done enough to kind of just say, all right, well, there's nothing I can do but to continue to raise my voice, raise awareness through my channel. What I've already seen is enough to tell people. Seeing what they're doing right now and the details of it and how government's trying to align with it, what Donald Trump's doing to further Biden's position in helping Israel. I mean, I told y'all this was going to happen. Like, there's no one who's paying attention to this expected Donald Trump to do anything different than Joe Biden did. Like, nobody who's actually paying attention to this thought, oh, okay, now that we have a new regime and there will be a chance of a ceasefire. No. That was never anything that a knowledgeable person was actually going to expect. You would be hopeful, and we all hopeful and prayerful, but like, as far as what we think his agenda would be, come on, man, stop this. Stop this is what I would tell anybody that thought anything otherwise. So it's like, why do I want to watch that? Why do I want to see that? Why do I want to continue to watch them do this to these people, man? But, you know, I can tell you this. With all I understand, I tell you that the only way this is going to stop is if we change. Because they're supported off of the money that we pay into our taxes. And we pay into their companies. You know, and and that conversation's been had about 8 or 9 times on this channel or more. So it's like, what else is there to say, man? Are we gonna make changes or what? Obviously, we're so warped into how we do things, into what we're comfortable with in our conditioning, And they've done such a good job on our heads till it gets to a point where it's like, I can say what I have to say, but how many people am I influencing to change their ways? How many people are influencing other people from what it is I'm saying to change their ways? It just becomes a situation where it's like, if you ain't, I can keep having the same conversations to further the conversation itself, but it becomes a point where I'm not saying anything new, nor am I seeing anything new, nor are they doing anything new. It's the same thing that we've been seeing. So it's just like, at some point in time, a person just has to let it go and let God, and wait for his appointed direction on the conversation. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm turning my attention to things that have to do with the bigger picture, which is changing our ways, getting a relationship with God, keeping aware that this entity is out there looking to benefit from our sin nature and our willingness to pay into their corporations that sell us poison of the mind and poison of the body. You know, that's the crux of what can change the way things operate. Talking about the details of what they're doing, who they're doing it, how they're doing it, there's plenty of voices out there that you need to be tapped into at this point. I am not one of them. You know what I mean? That's literally it. I'm not one of those people that can say, well, this is what's going to happen. This is what has happened in the West Bank over the last 24 hours, following every bit of this horrible situation. I think you need to follow those people. They're dedicated to that. That's their role in this. I don't believe it is mine. Not far away in LA. I don't know. Other than what they show me. So get tapped in to Wizard Basan 1. Get tapped in to all the Palestinian people who follow the real-time stuff going on. Get you a Telegram account. Follow some of these individuals who really know and are really showing you what's happening on the ground. Because they are the ones who are really going to be able to tell you the details of what's happening there, because they're there and they're dealing with it. And that is ultimately the information that is most helpful for those who need details, who are just waking up to this genocide. And for those of us who've been watching since day one, oh man, I'm tired, bro. I'm exhausted of the details of the day-to-day, every day looking at my phone and seeing dead children. You get tired, bro. I'm well past traumatized. I'm well past saddened. I'm well past outraged. I'm even well past angry. Just tired, bro. I don't see how those who are engaging this aren't tired of this, to be honest with you. I don't see how these soldiers who are killing these babies ain't sick of this. You know what I mean? Like, literally. Ain't y'all tired of this? Are y'all still making TikToks that are like supposed to be an expression of how proud you are of yourselves? How does that work? Are you still on that page? No, you shouldn't be. At this point, you shouldn't be. Because you've been doing this. You should have already quenched that thirst in regards to what you're doing. But I don't think that's how evil works, is it? I don't think that's how killing works. When you have a thirst for killing babies, I don't know if that's how that works. So, that's really what I got to say, man. I encourage people to get informed. Get informed, man. If you're not already informed, get informed. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to your government in regards to this conversation. The people that they put up there appointed to have conversations, briefing you on what's happening. They're not going to tell you nothing. They bought and paid for it. That is the entire point. That's what's down the rabbit hole. Is the truth and the proof of that. They're not to be trusted. They're not to be listened to on nothing involving this conversation or many others. There's a lot of nonsense going on with those who are in control of this country. They are bought and paid for. That has already been revealed to all of us. That's not hearsay. That's not speculative. It's right in your face. Either you support the annihilation of the Palestinian people and the further annihilation of those, help them complete their little shoe of a country that they're trying to build, or you don't. But as far as you saying some narrative about October 7th and Hamas and all that, that's willful ignorance at this point. It's too much data, it's too much proof, too many conversations furthering that, for which is true, into the atmosphere for the people to be still running around believing that. That's where I'm at with it. That's willful ignorance at this point. So we can have them conversations when there's no proof. We can throw narratives out there when there's reasonable doubt that these narratives are not true. But at this point, there's none. There's none. And that's what I want all of you who understand me to know, who follow me to understand. These narratives, they have been long proven untrue, long proven hogwash. The narratives got holes all through them. All through them. So the question is, do you support the annihilation of indigenous people and the furthering of the expansion of colonization projects or not? That's literally it. Video 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.